Will Saquon Barkley play the 2023 season on the one-year franchise tender, or will the running back get a long-term deal with the Giants? It's an important question Big Blue fans want the answer to, preferably before the start of training camp. New York Post Giants beat reporter Paul Schwartz, he doesn't have all the answers, but he joins me now to answer a few questions. Paul, how's it going?
I don't have all the answers, and I don't have all the money either, and that's what that's what this is about, as usual, money.
It's always about the money. Follow the money. Always about that. Now, at the bye week in early November, Paul, Barkley turned down an offer for a deal averaging $12.5 million per year. The G-men then increased their offer to $13 million after they made the playoffs, but Barkley also declined that. Seems like the running back is betting on himself here, Paul. Was Barkley declining those offers a smart move for him?
Well, look, I don't have a problem with him declining the offer at the bye week. When you sign at the bye week, you're kind of maybe thinking, I just want to get something done now. Maybe it's, 75 cents on the dollar. There's no, deals are usually done when there's some motivation and maybe a little intrigue. At the bye week, it's kind of like, look, you want to get something done, we'll get something done. If not, we'll revisit it, no problem. Saquon was averaging, like 90-something yards a game at the bye week, and maybe that was the right play for him. But I could see him not accepting that. After the season, they made the playoffs. There was a lot of goodwill. His numbers went down. There's no question about it. But he played every game. That he was healthy for every game. He didn't play the last game. None of the starters did. So he proved he was healthy. He had a career high in yards. The Giants did up their offer. Maybe he should have waited a little bit and then see if he can squeeze a little more money out of the Giants. But I think he should have taken that offer at some point. Yeah, because look, it is your job as a player and your job as a representative of that player to see where the market is. And the running back market was not good. We'll talk about that. And, once the offer was pulled, he might never see that money again.
Yeah, we'll talk about what the market is and the value there, right? And Paul, General Manager Joe Schoen, he values Barkley, but it's fair to question to what degree. And Barkley, as we just talked about, he's betting on himself, but it's unclear if he would be willing to play on a one-year tender. So my question here is, who has the leverage when it comes to negotiating a long-term deal? Is it the Giants or is it Saquon Barkley?
Well, it's the Giants. I mean, the Giants can live with Saquon playing for a one-year, $10.1 million contract. Don't forget the free agency period is over. You know what I mean? The need to gain a lot of more cap space is not there right now. They just gained about $6 million by signing Dexter Lawrence to a long-term deal. They gained about $6 million on this year's cap, which is money they'll need for a few other free agents down the road and, their draft picks and things like that. But the Giants, going year to year with a running back is not something Joe Schoen is going to worry a lot about, because that's probably a smart way to go instead of investing long term. That's the problem with running backs. It's hard to invest in them long term because they get hurt all the time. Look, Saquon is not going to sit out, I don't think. I mean, at some point, if nothing gets done, I think he has until the middle of July to sign that tender. I think he'll sign it. Will he be at the mandatory minicamp in June? Not if the tender is not signed, and I don't think it will be unless they come to some kind of a longer-term solution. But the only other option is sitting out a whole season. Saquon is not going to do that. He loves the Giants. He wants to play for the Giants. Is he frustrated by this contract? There's no question.
Yeah, wants to be paid like that. Can understand that for sure. Now, we know that the $13 million offer has been pulled off the table that we talked about earlier. The Giants have said that they want a long-term deal with their starting back. What are both sides looking to accomplish here? And is there a middle ground for Big Blue and Barkley that works? Do you see that at all, Paul?
Well, I put in a column in the New York Post on Wednesday that Miles Sanders, right now, Miles Sanders is the same age as Saquon, 26. Sanders was Saquon's understudy at Penn State. He was, behind him. And he just had 1,200 and something yards, I think, for the Eagles. He had his best year. The Eagles did not, make a big play in him in free agency. And he signed a contract for, I think, $24 million with the Panthers, averaging $6.3 million per year. Now, I'm not saying that Miles Sanders is Saquon Barkley. I don't think anyone in the league would say that. But their seasons last year were comparable, and they're the same age. Okay, they both had a couple of little injury hiccups along the way too. So when you look at that, is Saquon worth $6.3 million? No, he's worth more than that. But the Dalvin Cook money from before, some of the Christian McCaffrey money is clearly not there. The Dexter Henry money is clearly not there. So these 12 and 13 and $14 million a year contracts. Saquon is as good as some of these players, but that money is just not there in this market anymore. It's just not there. So You know, a 3-year contract for 30 million bucks, averaging 10 million a year with 18 or 20 guaranteed. Will that do it? That is less than Saquon was offered before, and that might be considered too much of a concession for Saquon to accept that deal. You know, sometimes it's about ego, it's about fairness, it's about, you know, I want mine and what I'm worth. And sometimes for a running back, I think it should be about how much guaranteed money can I get? Because as Saquon knows, one wrong turn, one cut here, one zig there, one zag there, and you can be out, and then you hurt all your chances to get a big contract. So I think it would behoove Saquon to get a deal, you know, upwards of 10 million a year if you can. Sign it, be the face of the team, and don't forget, you can make a lot of money in New York with endorsements and being the face of the franchise. It's where he wants to be. The team is on an upward swing. I think it makes sense for him to sign a long-term deal if the money is close to what he's looking for.
All right, we'll see what happens and if he's able to get that long-term deal. Giants able to give it to him. Sounds like both sides want to get things worked out. Want to note, Paul said Dexter Henry money. He meant Derrick Henry
Did
money.
I say it again?
Because trust me, that is not in that stratosphere of money. I mean, unless you got that to give it to me, Paul, we can work something out. You could do something.
You know, I've done that before with Dexter Henry and Dexter Lawrence. You know, I have Dexter Henry looking at me. I'm thinking Dexter Henry. You know what that says to me, Dexter?
Yes.
Henry, that you are one of the best in the business, much like Dexter Lawrence is as a run-stopping interior defensive lineman. So when I think of excellence, I think of my Dexters. Okay,
That,
and I get them mixed up.
I like that. The check is in the mail or deposit to you somehow. We got that, Paul. I appreciate that.
Venmo. I have Venmo.
We can work that out. That is Paul Schwartz, the great Giants beat reporter for New York Post. Check out his article on why Saquon Barkley should get a long-term deal done with the New York Giants. Paul, always great to talk Giants football with you. We will chat soon.